Dobry wieczór wszystkim. I hope you guys are doing fantastic today. I'm Mysticle and I'll be bringing you the latest in AR and VR news. We have quite a bit to talk about today, so as usual you've got chapters down below to skip to any part of the video that you might be most interested in. And with that being said, let's jump right in. First of all, we've got a little bit of negative news, but it's pretty much uphill from here on out. And this piece of negative news is actually for Quest 1 owners. I'm actually not entirely certain how many of us there's left in this world right now, but as some of you may know, I actually still use my Quest 1 for watching movies sometimes because of that beautiful OLED display, and I don't need high refresh rates for that. But for those of you that are still playing Beat Saber on their Quest 1, unfortunately the support for that will be ending in November. Meta is pulling the plug on multiplayer support in Beat Saber for the original Quest headset. Starting November 2nd, Beat Saber on the original Quest headset will no longer be able to access multiplayer. The headset sold from 2019 to 2020 when it was replaced by the Quest 2. Facebook bought the studio behind the game in 2019, with Beat Games kicking off a series of VR game acquisitions in the push toward Horizon. The Quest 2 was released in 2020, and the Quest 3 was released in late 2023, and Beat Saber multiplayer continues to connect players from Steam to PlayStation VR 2 headsets, which is really cool by the way. This is a fully cross-platform multiplayer mode. The game will still be accessible on the original Quest headsets, but multiplayer functionality will stop, and leaderboards might be phased out in the future. The reasoning is given as to focus our development efforts on our next project within Beat Saber. And to be honest with you guys, this is completely fair. The Quest 1 is now a pretty old device, and even when it came out, its SoC, meaning its processor, wasn't exactly new. So in order to compete and move forward, Beat Saber will eventually have to stop support. What I'm interested in here is, will mods bring back multiplayer functionality, possibly cross-version multiplayer support? That would be quite interesting. Mods have done some crazy things in the past, and I wouldn't be surprised if this was one of them. What's even cooler now is that Beat Saber on Quest is now cross-buy. In case you don't know what that means, it means that while this announcement was made, Beat Saber can now be played on both PCVR and Quest if you own it on just Quest. So if you have it on the one platform, you have it on both of them. All you need is the Oculus PCVR app on your computer and a VR gaming capable PC. We know this from Reddit, as a PSA was posted that Beat Saber is cross-buy now. So once again, this isn't like a Steam VR link or code that you get. No. It's just the app will appear as purchased inside your Oculus PCVR library. On a completely another topic, we've got great news for Quest 2 owners, as Andrew Bosworth has gone onto Instagram to answer another AMA and has confirmed that the Quest 2 isn't going anywhere anytime soon. People were getting quite worried, with the Quest 3S or Quest 3 Lite or Quest Pro Lite or whatever possibly now coming quite soon. Well, people were worried. What's going to happen to their Quest 2? Is it going to stop being supported, especially with all these discounts happening now? Are we going to lose support for this device that thousands of people bought and still use because they didn't want to upgrade to the Quest 3? Well, according to Andrew Bosworth, that isn't happening anytime soon, especially since the device is still being actively sold. Reading from Mixed News and quoting from Andrew Bosworth, Meta Quest 2 is still for sale. Laughs. So we're in good shape. I think it's pretty standard in consumer electronics. From like the date of the last device sold, there's a period of years that follow that it's still supported. And then we still do our best effort to make sure it works for longer. But if you want to make sure that the majority of your efforts going towards the majority of people using the platform, that's going to tend to be on the slightly more modern platforms. That's a very confusing paragraph to even read. I don't have the exact number because the Quest 2 is still for sale, but following the sale, there's a period during which it continues to get support. We want people who bought it in the last day to have a full life with it, and at that point, we'll move forward. And to be fair, the Quest 1 did actually have a fairly long life. It continued to be supported even after it stopped being sold, which was fantastic. And the exact same thing will happen to the Quest 2. As Andrew Bosworth said himself, this is pretty standard practice for most consumer electronics. So if you have a Quest 2, I don't think you need to be worried anytime soon, especially since, as we said, the device is still being sold. That, and hopefully once it stops being sold, Meta will provide us with an unlock code, meaning we can unlock the bootloader on the device just like they did with the Oculus Go, and possibly install custom firmware onto it. Because if you ask me, if you can unlock a bootloader on a device, as long as there's a community around the thing, you can keep it alive for very, very long. We have no custom firmware for virtual reality devices yet, but I do think that it's just a matter of time. Someone will eventually make that happen. happen. Talking about making things happen, Help Wanted 2 is coming to the Quest platform tomorrow. In case you guys are big fans of the Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted series that has now appeared in virtual reality, well, you've only been able to play Help Wanted 2 on PCVR and PSVR 2. Very soon though, tomorrow to be exact, you will also be able to play it on the Quest platform. So in case you don't have a PSVR 2 headset or don't have a VR-ready gaming PC, developer Steelwool Studios announced that FNAF Help Wanted 2 is slated to arrive on the Quest platform on May 9th, 2024, supporting Quest 2, 3, and Pro. Once again, missing that Quest 1 here, but we already knew that. Originally launched on the PSVR 2 and PCVR headsets in late 2023, FNAF Help Wanted 2 is all about minigames, where you'll see if you have what it takes to excel in the world of pizzeria management and maintenance, of course taking place at the Freddy Fazbear's very friendly and not at all dangerous entertainment compound. So again, if this is a title that you guys are interested in, possibly you're fans of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, well, you will now get to play it on standalone Quest. Apple is apparently making it easier to browse Vision Pro apps outside your headset. Searching for Vision Pro apps when not actually wearing the thing has been a hassle since day one. Now, Apple has added a nifty new search function to its App Store web portal, which makes it a lot easier to browse and download stuff. Apple launched its Vision Pro web portal a while ago, but if you were left scratching your head looking for a search function, scratch no more. Now, next to Arcade and Apps and Games section is a link to a proper search bar, making it easier to find and download apps when outside the headset. This is actually something I've been using quite a bit when trying to buy games or browse titles for my Quest. Sometimes I don't feel like putting on the headset to browse for these things, so I either do it on PC or on mobile, and I can't imagine not having a search function to do that. What's more, you can also install apps to your Vision Pro by finding one on the web when using an iOS device, hitting open in the App Store, then clicking get. You'll see a message saying the app will download to your Vision Pro. No fuss, no muss. This is something we Quest owners have had for the longest time, but it's nice to see Apple implementing it. Okay, not exactly no muss. At the time of this writing, it appears it only works for Vision OS exclusive apps, meaning if the app you're trying to install equally supports iOS and the Vision Pro, it will attempt to only download the iOS version to your phone, seemingly leaving you with no option to ask it to install only to the Vision Pro. So they're not quite there yet, but to be fair, we actually have no option period to install 2D apps on our Quest, so they're ahead of Quest when it comes to that. Hopefully, that becomes a similar match quite soon. And finally, here's some fantastic news for virtual reality in general, as major automotive companies are now embracing virtual reality to make their work easier. We briefly talked about this in the previous video. However, some car manufacturers still design cars in clay before heading into production. And while that tradition doesn't seem to be going anywhere just yet, companies like Ford, Volvo, and Rivian say mixed reality headsets are substantially helping them to reduce time and cost in vehicle design. To me, it makes perfect sense. If you have a high quality enough headset and high quality enough augmented reality, being able to see the thing directly there in front of you, possibly even life-sized, being able to rotate the parts, see them all, maybe expand your diagram and then put it back together, see exactly how everything fits together, is really, really cool. I mean, don't get me wrong, clay is awesome and all, but augmented reality, that's my slice of cake. In a new video focusing on the Australian-based design team behind the Ford Ranger, Ranger Raptor, and Everest, we get a look at just how one of the world's largest car manufacturers is using mixed reality, namely Vario's enterprise-focused XR3 headset. To quote, "We've been using mixed reality in the design process for more than a year now, and it's incredibly exciting," reveals Andrew Jones, visualization manager at Ford Design. And you can see that video going above me right now. Again, not only do I think it helps you in your work, I also think it's just really cool. I mean, it's like something straight out of the future, being able to see these parts floating in front of you, interact with them when they're not actually there, use your hands to maybe mold them around, change things around. It's just really cool. I bet you these engineers and visualizers, they not only get to use this awesome technology, that is making their life easier, I bet you they also just feel really cool in general. Either way though, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day or night, wherever you are in the world. If you like this one, please leave a like. If you disliked it, I guess this one works too. But let me know why down below. If you guys are not yet part of our community, check out our Discord and our Reddit down below, where I want to see you posting your spice memes. And thank you so much to anyone supporting the channel in any way, shape, or form. Whether you're a Patreon, whether you leave a super thanks, whether you guys bought me a coffee, and of course, if you're watching as well, much love to you. That is also supporting the channel. So seriously, thank you guys so much. And as usual, if you want to be notified of future content coming up on the channel, make sure to smack that subscribe button with your forehead, ding my bell, and see you again in the next video. Peace. Today's outro, no, my brain's fried, okay? Don't, I can't, today I can't rap, okay? I can't rap for you today.